The fantasy basketball season is right around the corner, and I know a lot of drafts will be happening this weekend, and you want to go into your drafts knowing the best value pick you can select in each round of your fantasy basketball draft for 2025. But this video isn't just for people that haven't drafted yet. If you've already drafted your squad, make sure you stick around for the video. See how many of these guys that you have on your team. See if there's some roster bait potential here. These will be my favorite selections based on value for each round of your fantasy draft going into this year. I appreciate all the kind words, all the support for the last few videos. I can't believe the sleeper one got over 10k views. Now I know that may not seem like a lot compared to some other people, but for me that's just absolutely ridiculous. I've just started this YouTube thing, so it's all really crazy to me, so thank you guys. And let's continue to get better at fantasy basketball every single day. For those of you that are new here, I'm Chris, home to the greatest mini hoop jumper of all time. So in the first round, it's kind of obvious. The top 5 guys are clearly the best. So if we had to pick outside of that, so no Joker, no Wemby, no Giannis, no Luka, and no SGA, the next person up who I think is the best value pick in the first round will be Cade Cunningham, with an ADP of 8th overall. So I like it if you're in the middle of rounds or near the end of the first. If you can select Cade Cunningham, I love his fantasy game. He may destroy you in turnovers, but I think he's going to be a triple-double threat on the nightly. I think he's going to continue to get better. I think this Detroit team is on the rise. All arrows are pointing up for Cade Cunningham in 2025. So for round 2, I think the best value pick that you can get is Kevin Durant with an ADP of 18. And I know he's getting older, but in my eyes, he's a first round top 10 player on a game-to-game basis. And I'm not worried about the new team or situation at all. Durant has clearly shown in his past with all the teams that he's been on, with the championship teams that he's been on, that he can fit into any ecosystem and dominate from a fantasy perspective, no matter who's around him. The Tarantula is one of the greatest scorers of all time. Durant is chasing that ring without Steph to put the haters to bed. I think he's motivated, and barring injury, I can see another top 12 finish for Durant in 2025. So for an honorable mention, I'm going Şengün with an ADP of 20. And it's funny that I have both Houston guys here. Maybe that's not a coincidence. Maybe that's why their ADPs are being pushed down due to the new team build and usage concerns. But I think Durant's only going to help Şengün's game either by gimme assists, improved efficiency to do more open looks, less offensive attention on him, because defense will always have to sag to Durant's side where he's on the floor at all times, and just more open looks in general. And especially with Fred VanVleet's injury, the ball is going to be flowing through Şengün and Durant so much more now. And I'm super bullish on Şengün taking another step forward this year and becoming a bona fide triple-double threat on a night-to-night basis. Okay, so for round 3, maybe people are going to bash me for this pick, but for me personally, it's LaMelo Ball with an ADP of 29. So yes, people may hate this for obvious reasons. The dude is made of complete gas, but I just can't stop myself from drafting this guy in round 3 when he's just sitting there begging me to draft him. If you've watched my prior videos, you know when I've talked about Ball, I've had him on a majority of my teams for the last 3 years, so there is no way in hell that I'm going to not draft him, and it's going to be the year that he plays 65 plus games. No shot. When he becomes that legit league winner, he's going to be on one of my teams no matter what. Also, he's just so damn exciting to watch. Like, look at this clip right here of him. He's legit playing street ball out there, and I love it. Okay, so for the people that absolutely hate LaMelo Ball and would never consider drafting him ever, my personal bias aside, or fetish for the Ball family, whatever you want to call it, my actual pick for round 3, best value selection you can get would be Jalen Johnson with an ADP of 26. Now, yes, I know that means you're probably not getting him unless you have like a top 5 pick because he's going right at the start of round 3, but I have seen some drafts where he slips a little bit later, so you never know. But he was a top 25 player on a per game basis last year, and I know he's dealt with his fair share of injuries, but he can be a fantasy stud across the board. When healthy, he averaged 18.9 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, 1.6 steals, 1 block, and 50% from the floor, adding in 1.2 threes made per game. Like, what are we even doing here? That line is disgusting. Easiest smash selection in the 3rd round of all time. Nobody can predict injuries. Don't overthink it. So in the 4th round, my favorite player to select, my favorite value pick will be Austin Reaves. Now, even before the LBJ injury news, I was super super high on Reese. I love having a guard that won't destroy your field goal percentage. He's going to score close to 20 points per night, add in 4 or 5 boards, 4 or 5 assists, hit his fair share of threes, and contribute with some nightly swipes. Add in the fact that Reese will have massive spike nights on the nights that Luka and LeBron miss or sit out, just adds to his total appeal. And honestly, I'd be okay with selecting Reese in the 3rd round. So if he's still floating around, available in the 4th round, don't think twice about it. Absolutely smash your phone drafting that guy. Get that white boy on your team. All right. Okay, in the 5th round, as you guys know, if you've watched my breakout video, I'm super high on Jalen Duren, and I think he'll be great this year. He just needs a little bit more minutes. Detroit's got to stop giving Beef Stew 20 minutes per night. Let Duren just run with it. Let him go away with it and let him dominate all season long. I think his floor is around his ADP of 56 right now, so he's a worry-free, safe selection with just so much upside. It makes my pants a little tight, and I can't help myself from drafting him in 5th rounds in drafts this year. So we have an honorable mention for the 5th round. That's Deni Avdija from the Portland Trailblazers, like the industry's most popular favorite breakout pick going into 2025. So now there is a little worry about him, at least from my opinion. Why is my honorable mention? Deni is supposedly competing for a starting spot with Grant. Now Chauncey Billups can be an absolute wild card with his rotation, so we're just gonna have to wait and see how that pans out. And I think his last year, that last month where he was going absolutely ham, I think that maybe just be a little bit unrealistic of expectations going into this year and is kind of clouded or jumped up his value in draft boards. But regardless though, the upside is clearly evident, and Deni just can't be passed on at his current draft spot. Okay, we'll keep going to round 6, and the biggest draft value that I think you can select right now is Darius Garland with an ADP of 68. Garland had a top 40 finish for 9cats last season. Garland's been drafted almost 30 spots after that due to an off-season toe injury, which has never really been a massive concern, at least in my opinion. The worst reports I saw that he'd be a month late to start the season, and over a course of a season, you can easily survive that without him. Garland's already been scrimmaging, so like I'd imagine he's going to be ready not too long after the season starts and be ready a lot sooner than a lot of people were thinking. These guys are freaks of nature, remember, so they just heal so much quicker than the common person. Cleveland is essentially running the same team back, so Garland's role from last year is pretty secure, and I expect him to operate as a top 50 player again in 2025. My honorable mention would be, if you're scared of the injury with Garland, rightfully so, you can, to each their own, would be Peyton Pritchard with an ADP of 69. Nice. Pritchard is absolutely going to let it fly from beyond the 3-point line this year. So much usage is available. I know you're probably sick of everyone talking about that in Boston. It was pretty cool when you get this guy closer to around, a pick 100, but I still think he has value at his current ADP of 69. Nice, times 2. Brown also tweaked his hamstring. I have no idea how serious it is or if it's just precaution. It is preseason now we're talking about, but if he misses any time, that's going to potentially open up even more for Pritchard. But I would sit back, draft him, and enjoy watching him shoot over 10 attempts per game from beyond the arc in 2025. We'll keep going on with round 7, and the biggest value selection I think you can make, and one of my favorite guys to draft that I'm trying to leave every single draft with, and that's Ausar Thompson with an ADP of 80. Again, it was so much cooler when his ADP was way higher, when you can get him closer to the triple digits, and lately I've been seeing him getting selected in the 6th round. In some drafts, I've seen him getting selected in the 5th round, but if he's there or available around 80 or in that area, you smash draft him and reap the rewards this season. I am very bullish on Thompson, like a lot of people are. I don't think he's that far off from his twin brother over in Houston. He's definitely not as polished as a scorer currently at this stage of his career, but the athleticism and stocks could be very similar. I think Detroit's going to rely on him a lot more this year. I think his minutes and his usage are both going to increase. He's an easy selection with immense upside around pick 80, and Thompson could absolutely destroy that ADP in 2025. So my honorable mention for round 7, since Ausar can and is getting drafted a lot earlier in some drafts, would be Alex Sarr. Now, I talked about it in my breakout video. Sarr's ability to just put out absolutely godly stat lines with the ability to block shots, score, rebound, and pass the basketball. I know his field goal percentage was downright disgusting last year at 39%, like very bad. And that's coming from someone who's a 41% mini hoop jumper, guy like me, so I know what bad is. Ausar has said multiple times in the offseason that he's working on getting closer to the rim, shooting higher percentage shots, and not being as timid when attacking the basket. I expect his field goal percentage to increase. The closer you are, the higher chance it has going in. Duh. I think his overall line will take a step forward. The upside is endless. And really, the value in this round with Thompson, Sarr is just ridiculous. I couldn't just select one. Both are no-brainer selections for me in the 7th round of drafts this year. On to the 8th round, another favorite of mine, Onyeka Okongwu. And again, I hope I'm not talking about or I'm cycling through the same amount of players if you've been watching all my prior videos. So I'll try and keep these shorter. If you want more in depth on sleepers, breakouts, or busts, make sure you go check out my other 3 videos right here. But back to Okongwu, he's a permanent stud. I'm not scared at all about the Porzingis edition. Getting him in the 90s just feels wrong, almost like robbery. What even is that? I think his floor is like a top 75 player, barring something insane. I can see Okongwu pushing for top 50. That's how bullish I am on his upside and why he's a no-brainer selection in the 8th round. I am always so freaking hunched over like I'm the hunchback in Notre Dame, man. I gotta straighten that posture out. We'll keep going in the 9th round. Toumani Camara off the Portland Trailblazers with an ADP of 108. Now, Camara is a great defender and will be an anchor defender on the perimeter for a young Portland Trailblazers team all season long. That will keep him on the floor, keep his minutes above 30, regardless of his offensive output. Speaking of his offensive game, though, he only averaged 11 points per game last year, but I think there is a ton of room for him to grow this year. I don't think he'll be like an elite off the dribble scorer. I think he's going to be more the stereotypical 3-and-D type wings that you see in today's NBA, with the ability to slash to the basket, dominate in transition, and hit a corner 3. And that's fine. I do think Kamara's shot is going to improve a little bit. I think his usage will increase, and getting him in the triple digit just feels like an absolute steal. With his stock contributions, I feel like his ceiling play could push him to be like a top 65, top 60 player by season's end. So for round 10, we're going Herbie Jones, Mr. Steals Master. And man, what a way to absolutely solidify your stock contributions from the wing in drafts if you can go Kamara Jones at the 9-10 spot. It's such good value so late into drafts. So yeah, similar to Kamara, I expect Jones to improve on the offensive end. I think the Pelicans are going to rely on him a lot more. He'll be easily locked into 30 plus minutes per night. I think even closer to 35. He's going to shoot more threes. I think he's going to score more in transition, and his defense just is so invaluable to New Orleans. And I like Jones making improvements across the board for 2025. So really, starting in round 10, drafts can get sort of crazy. People are grabbing players from all over the place. They just want to go get their guys. So the ADP doesn't really help you that much. But for the sake of this video, round 11, my favorite guy to draft, or the most value that I think will be in this round, will be my boy Brandon Podziemski from the Golden State Warriors with an ADP of 121. I like Pods for the rebounded contributions from the guard spot. I think his three-point stroke will improve this year, or at least it has to, and Golden State really is going to need it this year. Also, Pods is a nice insurance policy for Curry or Butler. If any of those two were either to miss time, his usage rates, the minutes would bump up quite a lot. I also never rock the half forward here, so I gotta let you know what I'm repping here. Bass Pro Shop, huge fisherman guy right here. You know it. So for round 12, we're going Jalen Wells with an ADP of 135, and there's a lot of usage up for grabs in Memphis with Desmond Bane gone, now in Orlando. Wells has a nice opportunity in front of him. I like his game. I like his skill set. I can see a path where he earns 30 plus minutes per night with increased usage. Wells had a fantastic summer league. He shined in the preseason, just showing the nasty downright scorer he is. He's a great dart throw at the end of your drafts. And last up for round 13, another guy I've talked about a bunch, and that's Kyle Filipowski from the Utah Jazz. Now, Filipowski is a nice, versatile offensive player, being able to attack you in so many different ways. He's fresh off a Summer League MVP award. The only thing holding him back will be his minutes, his starting spot in Utah. I'm not sure how that's going to play out this year, again, with all the tanking stuff, if they're going to play the young guys, if they're going to trade anyone. His fantasy game is so friendly, and for the last pick in the draft, like I've said before, shoot for the stars, boys. Let's go. All right, but I think that's it for this video. A little shorter one this week because we're getting so close to the season start on Tuesday. I know a lot of drafts will be wrapping up this weekend. People are getting excited. I'm getting freaking excited, man. I can't wait to see some ball again. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like this video if you like it. Smash that thumbs down if you hate it. Subscribe if you haven't. I know a lot of you are watching this video not subscribed. That'd be cool if you did. If not, whatever. I might do a video in the next few days about the players that I've drafted most for all the leagues that I've done, all the best ball drafts that I've done. I'm kind of curious myself, and let me know if you guys are kind of curious too. Thank you all again for watching this. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys real soon.